What's up, y'all? It's your boy Daley26 and welcome back to another Squeeze Squad video. Today I have the GB operator made by Epilogue. What this allows you to do is you can plug this into your PC, Windows, Mac, Linux, and you're able to put this thing in and it'll allow you to play physical Game Boy cartridges on your PC. There's a slew of other things that come with it, and I'm going to show you guys those in today's video. So what drove me to the GB operator was that I do have a Game Boy Advance, as you guys saw in the last video. I have the SP, and I also have an original Game Boy Advance, but those are kind of, I don't want to say kicking the bucket, but that Game Boy, if you guys remember way back in the Christmas special, I told you guys about that blue GBA SP was one I've had for the longest time. And it's just kind of starting to see the end of its time, I guess I should say. So the reason I know that my Game Boy Advance SP is starting to kick the bucket a little bit is just strictly because if I plug the game in wrong, it just doesn't play all that well. I either have to finick it correctly, so just for it to play. Swapping games out of it is a nightmare. I know that I have to commit to whatever game I'm going to play, otherwise I'm just going to be stuck with it. And I can still take the games out, I can still put them back in. It's just I have to put them in just right or the sound won't start. The game won't play. It'll freeze periodically. You know, it's stuff that it's just after probably 20 years of just hardcore gaming on it, which is weird to say for a Game Boy. It's just finally reaching its end. So once I started to realize my childhood Game Boy was kind of going out the window, I decided that I wanted to get a Game Boy Advance, the generic one. It was always the one that looked cooler to me. I always liked it. The only thing is, of course, I never had one. And as much as everyone's like, grass is greener on the other side, sometimes they don't tell you just how true that is. Because I got it and I didn't realize I was blessed with a backlit screen. The Game Boy Advance in general does not have one. I did wind up going on Amazon and purchasing a Wormlight. I don't know if this is a real one, bootleg, knockoff, copy, don't know, and honestly don't care because it works. That's all that matters. It's got a little damage on it, but it works, it gets the job done. The only thing is playing with that worm light attached can get really annoying, especially at night. My room itself isn't all that well lit, so sometimes when I'm playing in my room, it's just hard to play on. So I came to a crossroads. Over the years, I've seen that people have really dug in and just went all out in Game Boy modding. I could do that to my Game Boy, but just the idea of replacing a cartridge battery gives me the heebie-jeebies. Something we're still gonna do, and I'm still gonna show you guys how to do. But every time I do it, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like it. Really quote chaps my ass. You know, I don't want to do that to a cons because I did buy mine off DK Oldies, love or hate them. I personally, it's the only item I bought off of them besides this weird copy of Madagascar that was like $1. It does its purpose. They refurbished it. It looks brand new out the box. I would have went with eBay, but honestly, some of y'all don't know how to take care of your things. You know, it's just something where if I was gonna go and get this old piece of hardware, I didn't want to buy an old piece of hardware. I wanted to buy a, I guess, nostalgic piece of hardware, if that makes any more sense. Just so I could play my games. I don't have to worry about the issues. The Game Boy Advance SP that I mentioned earlier, that is on its way out, it still works, it still runs, and I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. But it's just one of those ones where I turn it on and it makes me think, is this the last time I get to use it? And I don't really like that feeling. So this left me with two options. I can find a game store that has a non-beat up Game Boy Advance SP, which odds are pretty low. I can go to DK Oldies type website. Doesn't have to be them, they're just the only ones I've used so far. And I can get another refurbished system. Option B, send that Game Boy Advance or my SP, send it out to a friend of mine who I know does Game Boy modding, and I know that he would be able to bring my Game Boy back to life, bigger, badder, and better than ever. The only problem with going the modding route is that it's not a cheap and it's not a fast option if you don't know how to do it yourself. I'm gonna drop basically the same amount of money and wait probably a little more time than it would be to just go to a retro store or go to like a retro website and just buy it refurbished or fixed up. I ran across option C, so I started doing my homework and I found this little guy, the GBA operator presented by Epilogue. Again, not sponsored, I just bought it. So what this does is you plug it into your Windows, Mac, or Linux-based system, and it allows you to play Game Boy games on your computer. Now, I'm not exactly sure everything it does, but I do know one other thing that it has is it's able to also do save states. You can have multiple save files and backed up save files on your computer as well. I'm about to dive into this. I'm not sure about everything I can do with it. I just know that the main reason I bought it was so that I could play my Game Boy games on the computer, make it easier to get footage, as well as just being able to preserve games in case something happened to my Game Boys, you know? This is $40, I believe, with shipping and handling. I think it came out to total of like $65, which was way cheaper and a way better alternative than buying a new Game Boy or modding one. It was actually about 60 to 80 bucks cheaper to do this. Plus, I got more benefits out of it. So, let's crack her open, let's play around with it, and let's see what happens. Oh, actually, funny enough. So when you open it on the inside, a little thank you letter. That's nice. Oh, and it has a 1-year warranty. That's cool. Right here, it's just the instructions. Seems easy enough. Plug and play. At least it's how it's marketed, so let's assume so. Inside, right here, we have the device itself. Looking inside and seeing all the like motherboard and stuff in there, it's actually kind of cool to see. As kids, we all liked the see-through controllers because they looked really cool. And seeing that this took that see-through approach and like made it into the whole device is actually really cool. Realistically, it was probably just the best way to make it. I don't know if they did it like that, but if they did, that's actually really cool. If you could operate a Game Boy, you could operate this. It takes USB-C. Yeah, it's USB-C, just straight to...
Pause. Future Daley here. I'm just here to let you guys know that I actually plugged the operator into my PC with a smaller USB-C cable to USB. Same exact cord. I don't know if it's like a voltage thing or what it is on the inside. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But it actually wouldn't read unless I used that exact USB-C cord. So for the future, if you get one, don't lose this cord because I tried it with mine and it was the only one that read. I have tons of USB-C cords. I have a Google Pixel, a Nintendo Switch, and so much film gear from my job that all take USB-C, and the fact that this thing can only take one USB-C cord is a little concerning. So please, 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 please do not ignore this fact and reach out if you get one. If you break it or whatever the case may be, reach out before it's too late so you know exactly what you need to get if this cord is lost or replaced, because so far from what I know, you will not be able to get another one.
Right in the computer, USB-C to USB, underneath nothing, and then just if you're curious for more. If you want to see more epilogue stuff, want to know how to get one, stuff like that, this is how you do it. I will say right now, I ordered mine in early April, and it came around May 16th, I believe. I did order the 2-day shipping. I just didn't realize that once you get it, that there's a wait period that you have to wait for it to ship out. They do, I want to say they either make these to sale or they make them in limited quantities, and then when they sell out, they'll make more. I'm not exactly sure how it happens. I did hear before that they did have a pretty big setback in the sense of like a lot of people wanted these, and that's kind of why they do the limited drops, just to make sure that like, you know, the want for the product is still there, and they just manufacture an entire factory's worth to find out nobody cared, you know? So let's take her to the PC, let's get her set up, and let's see how this goes.
Alright guys, I went to epilogue/the GBA operator website. I downloaded the program and I followed the instructions, so everything's all set to be played. If you're looking at the operator, I promise you it's simple, it's easy, it's step by step. You literally go to their website and at the top it'll show you how to download it, and if you don't follow the instructions on the website, it actually comes with a paper form in the box. So one of the things I love about the operator, I've already played around with it, you'll definitely see that in a minute. The biggest thing that I love about this feature is it'll actually tell you if your cartridges are real or not. So we're going to take this Pokemon Emerald that I unboxed in my past video, which you've not seen, link below, and we're going to put it in the operator. I am pretty sure it's real. I put context clues together, I really put in the research, I think it's real, but the key word is think. The operator will actually tell me if this is an official cartridge or not. As you guys can see, official cartridge, I didn't get ripped off, always fun. Now, it will tell you if a cartridge is fake. For example, if I take this out and I put in another copy of Pokemon Emerald that I got that I wasn't so sure is real or not, it'll tell me right there, unofficial cartridge. And funny enough, I think it actually uses a bootleg box version, as that doesn't look like the original box. It might be, it might not be, I can't exactly tell. Rewritable cartridge, which is also really cool. It means if I want to change anything on it, I can. Another game we can test, it does this for a lot of games. So for example, I have this copy of Madagascar that I'm sure is fake. And look at that, it's a real cartridge of Madagascar. If you wanted a real Madagascar cartridge. This is how you test it. It seems to work pretty well. Here's a copy of Crystal that I know is bootlegged. Alright, so this cartridge is actually so bootleg it don't read. Now that I have a game in, I can check with the operator settings. I haven't gone too deep into these, and honestly, I probably never will. I'm basically okay with just the original settings that are put into this device. Like, I get 2 times speed up, so if I'm playing on, I don't know, for example, a long route that I just don't like, I could speed up through it. Other than that, most of these settings are like colors, they're how the model restarts, and all these other things that honestly I don't know nor care about. So they're here. If you want to play around with them and do what you do, go right ahead. From there we have the device settings. Now at night I have this LED USB adapter that I didn't know had a white underglow, and I have to throw a t-shirt on it every single night, because if not it'll just light up the room. It's the most annoying thing. When I found out the operator did the same thing where the light stays on even if the computer's off, I really wasn't about that. So when I checked the device settings and I saw that there's a dark mode, which essentially just turns off the LED inside, made my day, made me squeak. Amazing. So of course I have that on. It looks like Pulse and Strobe are supposedly coming soon. I don't know who in their right mind would want Strobe, but sure. Or Pulse, honestly. From here we have controller settings. Now I have it set to my Xbox One controller. You could use mouse and keyboard if you really want to. It's a Game Boy game. I don't see why, but it's there. I have played around with some other bootleg controllers that I have. Like I have a NES USB controller, and I actually am probably going to hook that up. I did try it before. I don't know why I just left my controller in, but I could do that as well. It's really easy. Start, up, down. Any controller that has a D-pad, an A and B buttons, start, select, which is literally every controller ever. It works. Obviously left and right shoulders if required. Some games actually just don't even use them. So for a game like Emerald, for example, I won't need them. So I'll probably just use that just to feel more retro, I guess. I don't know. Cheat codes, I have not played with yet. I'm sure, as you guys saw before, I do have some other cartridges that I definitely will mod and hack the hell out of. Just because why not, you know? As you guys can see, this obviously looks amazing. Really good looking game. Now, if I hit A, you're gonna realize something real quick that you may not have seen in the Emerald unboxing video. It's gonna go straight to the actual game itself. One thing you guys may remember from the unboxing video I did for Pokemon Emerald was that when I turned on the game, the first thing it said was the game battery had ran dry. Fun fact, GBA operator makes it so that the cartridge runs off of the computer's internal clock. Therefore, if you have a dead Game Boy battery, so for Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, all of which have clock-based events or have save files tied to their game batteries, it's no longer a problem. So from here, I actually was able to grow berries and do all these other things. So it feels like I have a real working copy of Emerald again, like as if it was back in the day. Now obviously, yes, it's in Japanese. Granted, that's because I didn't want to pay extra amounts for a American copy of Pokemon Emerald. I promise you it does not change your language. But even here, see, I actually planted these a couple days ago, and now I can harvest them. Which I know is like a small feature for this game, but you know, if you want to do things like melodic and you know, you want to get some of the days of the week events and stuff like that, it's great. It's great to have in here. I'll say, especially if you have a Gen 2 cartridge or a Gen 1 cartridge, you can actually run around and use save states for your GBA operator, which means any game that you play, you can make multiple save files. In Emerald, I actually have multiple backup saves ready to go. Just in case something happens to this, I'm not losing anything. We have fast forward, it's 2 times. I believe you can up this in the settings. This route right here, absolutely despise it. Absolutely despise this route. And you know why? Because this whole thing is grass. So you know what made it a lot easier to do when going back and healing? Turning on 2 times and just running right through it. Definitely a great perk to have, but I do gotta say the music speeding up is a little annoying when it catches up to it. It doesn't work. Not to say it doesn't work, but like it just I don't know, it kind of messes with my head a little bit. But overall, there's definitely more you can do with the operator than I've used already. If you guys want to see a more in-depth review, I'm sure there's somewhere on YouTube. Like I said before, this is not sponsored or anything like that. I just came across this device. A friend of mine had it, and I thought, you know what, this would be really cool to get and play with. And, you know, maybe put some people onto it. You know, I've told my friends about it, and a lot of them, some of them were kind of like, hey, you could already emulate games. What is this, 2004? Like, of course you can emulate Emerald. Of course you can emulate Madagascar. Of course you can emulate whatever game you want. But, you know, if you want to play your legit cartridges, and you're in a situation like me where you have the hardware, but it's either on its way out or you just don't have the hardware, again, for 45 bucks, it's not bad. Granted, again, I had to wait like a month and a half for it to ship. I bought it early April. I didn't get it till like May 16th. And even then, I paid for 2 days shipping. So I could have actually still not had it yet. Actually, it would have probably came in by now. By the time I'm recording this on May 23rd, it could have been here by now. But it shipped out in America's, I believe, May 15th. So I got mine a little early. I think mine shipped like the 14th. Just out of pure luck. Either way, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, you know, do the whole thing. And this concludes part 2 to our Game Boy series that I've been messing around with. Part 3 will be coming in the near future as soon as I learn how to solder. So if you guys could already figure out what that means, but I'm gonna get up out of here, so I'll catch y'all next time. Bye.